Yahoo himself.
Hey.
Hello. You guys want to introduce yourselves as well?
Oh, what's up? I'm Rob. I'm a keyboard player, and we got Aaron here on guitar as well.
Awesome. They're going to play a little bit of song, a new song off the new album, which is coming out August 25th, called Light. And I wanted to hit, because I've never personally interviewed you before, so I wanted to hit you up with the obvious questions you probably get asked all the time. First of all, Matisyahu. What does that mean?
Well, I don't really know. Matisyahu means, like, Matisyahu himself was like the father of Judah Maccabee. Judah Maccabee was, he was the Maccabee soldiers in the times of the Second Temple, I want to say, where the Assyrians, the Jews were, being persecuted, and they started this kind of revolt in the Maccabees. And Matisyahu was like the father of that revolution. You've heard of probably Judah, like the Lion of Judah, like where all that comes from, and that's kind of a little history on it.
Interesting. I was just expecting you to say it's Hebrew for Matthew.
Oh yeah, and that too.
Okay. So you guys are 2 weeks into the new tour, or
yeah,
how long?
we're up 2 weeks.
Which I noticed, I'm very impressed. You're up to date with the whole social networking thing, the MySpace, the Facebook, and the Twitter. And I even saw you picked a picture of you coming into Reno. That looks early. Was that like sunrise?
Yep, that was early.
What were you doing up that early?
I ride on an RV. We have a tour bus with the band everybody's on, and then I have an RV because I used to tour with my family sometimes. So I bought this RV. The guy who sold it to me was like, "Oh, it's just like a tour bus, you know." It's not just like a tour bus.
I saw the plead for a tour bus.
It's so bumpy. Yeah, and so I wake up, like, pretty much every time we enter a city and we get off the interstate, you know, coming around corners and hitting potholes and stuff, I'm up. So I was just lying in my bed, but it's so beautiful here, like sunrise over the mountains and the desert.
Oh, yeah,
gorgeous.
Definitely. And it's been kind of raining lately, so we're having the thunder and the lightning and all that good stuff. You will be playing tonight at the Grand Sierra Resort. Doors at 7:30, shows at 8 o'clock. Get your tickets now. You could go to Ticketmaster.com or the GSR box office. But I did put out on Facebook and Twitter, I said, hey, if you have any questions for Matisyahu, what would they be? And so I have a few questions. One in particular was, what kind of music did you listen to growing up, and what inspired you to go this particular direction?
Well, growing up, the records my parents listened to were Paul Simon, Graceland was a regular record, James Taylor, Never Die Young, Ricky Lee Jones, which he just played
nice, into the hippie station next door.
And those were a couple records that were played like all the time, kind of like Neil Young, Crosby, Stills, Nash, that kind of stuff. And then what was the second part of your question?
What caused you to go this way in terms of like how would you characterize your music? Like reggae, kind of hip hop, reggaeton? Like what is it exactly?
It's a mixture of different styles, including probably reggae, and rock and hip hop.
So what inspired you to go that way, though?
I just always liked lots of different things.
I read you were a fish head, or you considered yourself a deadhead at one time.
Yeah. I don't know. I wore sandals all year, my junior year in New York. So that might make me count.
Did you go to your fair share of fish shows?
I did. I dropped out of high school. I went on one tour, on a fall tour. So that also kind of maybe counts.
Would you consider that inspiration for the direction of your music?
A bit, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's why Fish, kind of when I started listening to them, I didn't really care about anything else. I just wanted to, be in those concerts, listening to music. That's where I felt like that sense of freedom and sense of self, So I just, that's why I just left everything and I went and even though I was just a kid, I had, no money, and I just followed them for a while. And it was all about the music for me. It was all about, like, having that experience with the music. And so that has influenced, like, my life and the music that I play.
I would have to ask you, well, most people, if they know anything about you, know that you're Hasidic Jew, what does that mean? Because for someone like me, I don't really understand what that means.
Well, you have, like, Judaism. There's Orthodox Judaism, which is like sort of like all the law, the laws from the Torah, the belief that the Torah is God or divine, godly or divine. So there's all these laws like the Ten Commandments, except there's 613 of them. And so Orthodox Jews believe that you have to kind of like try to live by those laws. And like it could be anything from, don't kill, to like observe the Sabbath, to, all these little smaller ones that, but Hasidic Jews typically were really adamant about those laws and following them. But the Hasidic movement started in like the 1700s, and it was kind of an outside movement. And the main idea behind it was that like a common person, a shoemaker or whoever it was, could have like the ultimate relationship with God and come to the ultimate spiritual levels. It wasn't like a scholar or someone. There was no caste system for that. You know what I mean? Anyone could do it, and there were different kind of methods of trying to get in touch with God. Be it like going into the woods and screaming at the top of your lungs, or all types of different things. There was all different kinds of ways, and there was lots of mystical kind of experiences that started to get like talked about around Eastern Europe, and people started to follow these different rebbes, and it all became kind of different Hasidic groups that sprouted up in Poland and Russia, and then you have some of that today, and then any movement starts pure and then becomes kind of the machine that it was fighting against.
Right.
So that's why there's a lot of misconception, but some of that is but whatever.
Well, I was going to say, I myself, maybe non-practicing Baptist, not very good at it, but getting into radio was kind of conflicting in terms of my own religion. Do you find that happening to you? Because, you're in like the rock and roll realm, your religion being tested or hard, or I think you are very strict in who you surround yourself with and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's always that balance between maybe the details and the laws of religion, and then this inner spirit of what it's all about. And sometimes the two can conflict, and ideally the religion or the laws are put there in order to like help feed the spiritual part. Sometimes you find it pulling away from it, you know what I mean? So it's luckily the music and the lifestyle of being on the road and getting out of the religious community and all that has been able to like help me try to always remind what the focus is the inner part. And if the outer of all the details and the laws are taking away from that, then that's not the point, you know what I mean? So I find more that the lifestyle of being on the road and doing the music and all that is kind of keeps me in check with like why I became religious in the first place.
And you mentioned a little bit earlier that your family travels with you. How often do they travel with you?
Sometimes, like I did a tour two summers ago at 311. It was like 3 months, and they were with me the whole time. And this past fall, we did a 2.5 month tour, and my wife and kids came. And on this one, I'm going at it alone, but I've become very close with the band.
Another Twitter, Facebook question was eating kosher on the road. Is this a very difficult task for you?
Not really. We just kosher restaurants pretty much everywhere, or caterers. So we usually do that. We have a little barbecue, a grill, and frozen meat in the fridge or whatever. And like yesterday, we were at a festival, the Harmony Festival, and they had like this blissful raw food, and we had raw food. Raw is kosher.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this way to figure it out. Or else eat a lot of crackers and cheese.
And pickles.
And pickles. Gefilte fish. Every supermarket has a kosher aisle, or not even like a very small section with the same stuff. It's like gefilte fish, matzah, and I don't know what else they have there.
That might explain why you're so skinny.
I guess. Yeah, I lose a little weight on tour.
So tell me a little bit about the new album coming out August.
It's called Light. It's out August 25th. David Kahn produced it. A lot of different people on it. A lot of people helped me write it, from Aaron Dugan, who's here with us today on guitar, to Uwa from the Glitch Mob. It's kind of like electronic glitch, kind of electro hip hop kind of stuff. Trevor Hall, who's kind of like a folk